Hey everyone! Today, we're diving into a really fascinating document that totally reframes how we should think about artificial intelligence. It's called the Engage US AI Manifesto. So, right off the bat, the manifesto hits us with this huge foundational question. Seriously, think about this for a second. For, well, all of human history, intelligence has been a pretty scarce resource, right? But now, with AI, that's all changing. So what happens when it's not scarce anymore? What does that world even look like? And here's the manifesto's big answer. It's a total paradigm shift. You see, the old way of thinking was all about control, who's in charge of the system. But they argue that's the wrong question now. The new model is all about participation. It's less about a top-down command structure and way more about being part of a collaborative network. Okay, so to really get our heads around this new reality, we kind of have to unlearn some old habits. All those rules and principles that drove the industrial economy, the very things that built the world we live in, well, the manifesto argues they're not just outdated anymore. In the age of AI, holding onto them could be downright dangerous. And this really nails the difference. The industrial economy, that was all about competition. It was basically a zero-sum game. For me to win, you had to lose. But the AI economy is different. Because AI can amplify our collective intelligence. It's shaped by collaboration. The only way to really move forward now is by working together. And this really gets to the heart of the risk, doesn't it? It's not just about having powerful tools. I mean, think about it. Powerful tools without the right mindset? That's a recipe for disaster. This is where this idea of maturity comes into play, and it's a huge theme throughout the whole thing. So the big question is, how do we actually develop that maturity? Well, the manifesto lays out a new framework. It's built on 4 foundational shifts in how we see the world and what we value. Let's dig into each one. All right, shift number 1, moving from authority to maturity. For basically ever, we've looked at someone's title, their credentials, their position, and said, okay, you're in charge. But this new model says, hold on. What really matters isn't your title, it's your mindset. Can you listen with an open mind? Can you evaluate things critically? And, this is the big one, are you willing to respect different perspectives? That's where real influence comes from. Next up, the second shift, from leadership to membership. We have this obsession with training individual heroes to be leaders. But in a world that's so interconnected and amplified by AI, things get done by groups, by networks. So being a good member, knowing how to belong, how to collaborate productively, that actually becomes more valuable than just being the leader at the top. Okay, the third shift is one we've kind of talked about already, collaboration over competition. It's a big one. With AI boosting our collective brain power, there's just no way one single person can see the whole picture anymore. Progress, like real, meaningful progress, now depends entirely on how well we can coordinate with each other and with the machines we're building. And that brings us to the fourth and final shift, from management to creativity. Think about it. Management is usually about making existing systems more efficient, right? Optimizing. Well, guess what? AI is an optimization machine. It can do that job way better and faster than any of us. So where do we humans fit in? Our real value is in creativity, in reimagining what's possible and actually having the guts to try new things. So when you put all these shifts together, you get to the absolute core argument of this manifesto. And it's this. The biggest challenge here isn't the technology. It's us. It's about humanity. They call it the human readiness test. And I just love this quote because it captures the idea perfectly. AI isn't some magic 8-ball that gives us answers. It's more like a giant mirror. It takes our own thinking, our own biases, our own judgment, and it amplifies it. It basically reveals whether we had good judgment to begin with. It puts us under a microscope. So what exactly is this human readiness? Well, the manifesto defines it as this critical combination of 3 things: how we perceive the world, the attitudes we hold, and the behaviors we choose. And really, that combination is what's going to decide everything, whether AI helps us build a better world or, well, undermines it. And we can break human readiness down into 3 main pillars. First, having an accurate perception of reality. Second, holding constructive attitudes. And third, demonstrating responsible behavior. It's really about seeing things as they are, approaching challenges with a productive mindset, and then acting ethically. Simple, but not easy. Okay, so with all that as the backdrop, the manifesto wraps up by laying out a clear commitment. It's basically a philosophy for how to operate in this strange new world where intelligence is everywhere. And this really boils it all down into a powerful set of beliefs. It's not just abstract theory, It's a practical guide. Membership is more important than leadership.
Collaboration beats competition. Creativity is more valuable than just control. And maturity is the bedrock of trust. These are the new rules of the game.
And they're really clear about what this philosophy is not. This is not another one of those humans versus machines stories. The goal here isn't to try and compete with an algorithm on its own terms, to be faster or more efficient. Come on, that's a game we're destined to lose.
No, instead, the real goal is to prepare people to double down on what makes us human, to think clearly, to collaborate ethically, and to adapt constantly. It's all about building up the skills that AI complements, not the ones it replaces.
And this leaves us with a really powerful final thought. In a world that's getting noisier and filled with intelligent machines, the future isn't going to be led by the person who shouts the loudest. It's going to be shaped by the most mature participants. So the question this manifesto leaves hanging in the air is, how are you preparing to be one of them?